turn back around? No. No, not now. We came too far. We're not getting up on.
Repeat. Yak is at maintain.
Not on my watch.
I think it's a certain time. You have to think it's right after World War II, and it's the Greatest Generation era. And I think, at least for Bernie too, he had brothers that were in the war, and he had a father that obviously there was a lot of pride and obviously a lot of honor to have served. And so he was doing his part, and obviously wanted to live up to that kind of great name of what it meant to be a World War II veteran. And having not had the chance, his chance was to serve was in the Coast Guard. So it was of a certain time, of a certain generation, I think. But although you look at today, and there are people serving all over the world whose the definition of their jobs is to put their life on the line.
It's quite refreshing to sort of see that the integrity of the true morals and values, and I think you can't often show that because people are flawed and coloured, and I think Bernie's that's what the special thing about the character of Bernie, of how humble and how humble and how honest he was.
That boat is too small for these seas, and this ship will be sunk by nightfall. Now, every fella here wants to live. The only way that happens is if we run her aground.
Well, I like the way that the story brought to life what we think of as being those kind of simpler values of the time, and the kind of uncomplicated characters that we see in movies from the 50s and that we associate with that sort of period in America. The kind of post-war, like the Great Generation. I mean, that's what that was. It was men who didn't have to go in the war and they went to war. And these are guys who didn't have to go out to sea and they went out to sea because it was the right thing to do. So that is definitely something that first struck me when I read the book and read the script. And I think the movie sort of pays homage to that era, that kind of storytelling and those values in some way. And, I think there are people that are still like that. I think it's just... it's not that common, but a lot of people aren't in situations like this all the time. But, we see stories of valor and war and things like that often. And what makes this kind of special story is that it is about, sort of guys who, they aren't the first one in. They're not people who have done this for a living, being the... They're not in charge. They're not like on the Pendleton and on the Coast Guard boat. They're people who, up until now in their life, they had not been in this position, but they were willing to give it a shot because they knew that if they didn't, a lot of people would die.
You got about 5 seconds, boys! Come on, fight up!
I think a lot of the films we have nowadays are cynical or self-aware, or it's like the hipster generation of filmmaking. I think this is a perfectly Disney film. That we're not reinventing the wheel. It's about ordinary men earnestly trying to do great things because it's the right thing to do, and someone who wants to, in my case, in Bernie's case, go back to the woman who he loves. I think it's beautiful, simple storytelling.